Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today is time for another review on my channel, and this time I'm going to be reviewing Moroda by L.L. McNeill. This is a debut book by this author and I thought I wanted to share my thoughts with you. First I'm going to get into a short summary about the book, then I'll be talking about my favorite parts of the book and then some cons about the book that I found, and finally my overall rating and who I recommend it to. Moroda is the first book of a 6-book series called The World of Linearia. Linearia is a world filled with all these kinds of species of people. In this one we follow mostly Moroda and her twin as they're sort of joining forces with some unlikely allies. There's a sky pirate, some shape changers, and dragon killer, and a prince, a dark prince, and other sorts of characters. They form an alliance to try and stop Asiel, who is sort of bent on revenge and wants to destroy everything, wants to have control over everyone, and he is able to manipulate minds and make people do as he wants them to do. So yeah, that was a really brief summary of this book and what it's about. And one of the things I really enjoyed about this book was all the different elements of the fantasy with the dragons and the sky pirates and magic users in different ways, and that worked really well together, I feel like, and the shape changes as well. All of these different sort of beings, they really made a great read for this story, and it sort of made me feel like a little bit of normal high fantasy, but then with a mix of steampunk feeling as well because of the sky pirate edit and the airships and all of that, and that made it a really fun read. I enjoyed how different the characters were. They all had very distinctive voices when you were reading it, so you were able to tell which of the characters we were now seeing from. For the most part we were seeing things from Moroda's perspective, but sometimes we switched over to other characters to see things from, and that was something I really enjoyed. It's sort of a dysfunctional group, but they were really having each other's backs for the most part through all of the book, even though they had their differences of opinion, and some of them were actually enemies, like from their old countries and where they were coming from, and I felt like they worked well together despite all of that. And I also really enjoyed that she went places with the characters that I didn't expect, and I really appreciate that. That definitely made it a lot more interesting as well for me. I think that's a really positive factor that she did go there with the story. And finally, I also really enjoyed the writing style. It was very easy to get into and very engaging and fast-paced, and for the most part I don't have very many negative things to say to the writing style. The only thing that I had, there was a few chapters in the beginning half that were a little slow, and I think it was due to a lot of dialogue trying to set up the world, obviously, because there's a lot of world building, getting to know all of these different characters and these different countries or clans set in this world, so that you got the gist of their backstory and why they were acting the way they did and stuff, and that's really necessary. But I think sometimes there's a lot of dialogue and that made it not very action-packed, so instead they were doing a lot of talking, but there was not a lot of things going on in those chapters. But that's basically the only negative thing I have to say, and considering this is a debut novel, I really think she's done a really great job, and I can't wait to see how she'll evolve as an author in the future, because I really think she has a lot of promise. So yeah, overall it's a really solid start to a series and a really solid read for me. I can't wait to see what's in store for the characters in the next coming books. It was kind of a cliffhanger sort of ending, so I'm really excited to get my hands on the next book. As I said, I know this is going to be a 6-book long series, and I asked the author when she expects to have the next sequel out, and she hopes to have it finished by the end of this year in 2017, so maybe it will be released in the beginning of 2018, maybe in the end of 2017, we'll see, but I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. I really recommend this book for people who've enjoyed Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, because I think that it sort of cast of characters that are so different and has so many quirks about them. It's very character driven, actually. I think with that dysfunctional sort of group and mix of different sort of clans and beliefs, I think that worked really, really well in the story. And I think that people who loved Six of Crows and had that dysfunctional group as well, they would really love that. This doesn't have a romance, and I really, that's something I didn't mention before, but I really enjoyed that it didn't focus at all on romance, but more relied heavily on great friendships. And that's something I really enjoyed, because sometimes I think romances it can take up too much room in high fantasy novels sometimes, because while they're doing this, obviously they should have time to sort of make friendships and stuff. But yeah, there's some, I just enjoyed that this was focused a lot more on friendship building and that instead of the romance part. So that's one of the big differences between Six of Crows and this story. But still, I think that people who enjoyed Six of Crows would really enjoy Moroda as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving this an overall 4 out of 5 stars. So definitely a book that I recommend everyone to check out if they think that they sound interesting. Let me know in the comments down below if you have interest in picking this book up after what I've been saying, or if you've already read it, and let me know your thoughts about it. That would be really amazing. And yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye.